What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here watching a Ragin Ronin review. In this video, we're going to talk about Godzilla. You're probably thinking, well, what is there to talk about? Because I already did the spoiler-free review. I did the spoiler review. So what else is there to talk about? Well, we got to talk about Godzilla the Sequel. That's right, Godzilla the Sequel is happening. And before I talk about Godzilla the Sequel, we got to talk about this. This is an art print that I bought from Mary Bergeron Illustrations. You can check out her stuff on the Facebook link. I'm going to leave you the link to her Facebook page on the description box below. But this is an amazing art print of the King of Monsters. Check that out. We got a city at the bottom. We have Godzilla in the middle, and we have Gojira. Alright, in Japanese characters. Now I'm going to put this away just because it's kind of hard to roll out. But this is an amazing print, and like I said, you can check it out and you can purchase it. Limited to 1,500 prints worldwide. It's $42 and plus shipping. And like I said, it's a limited production run. It's a beautiful piece. So I'm going to leave you the link to Mary Bergeron Illustrations Facebook page down below so you can make a purchase. Anyways, let's talk about Godzilla the Sequel. And you know that Godzilla the Sequel is definitely happening when the movie has just made $203 million worldwide to date. The movie's only been released for 5 days, and worldwide, or rather internationally, it made $103 million on its opening weekend. And then it also made $93.1 million domestically in North America. And to date, it has $203 million worldwide against a $160 million production budget. So the weekend box office take already covered more than its production budget. And even though the marketing cost was probably $100 million or something like that, still, by the time it gets to, I don't know, its third weekend, it'll have made all of that back and a lot more. So this movie is destined to make a lot of money, and it's definitely a great way to start off the summer movie season. I mean, this movie is a fantastic film. Sure, it's got some flaws. I've already talked about what I did and didn't like about the film. I gave it an 8 out of 10. IMDb gives it a 7.5 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gives it 73%. So essentially, it's a positively reviewed film. Now, a Godzilla sequel was announced by Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures last Sunday, so 2 days ago, and they announced this as soon as they got in the final box office numbers, which means that they already had a sequel in mind, but they didn't want to announce that, and they didn't want to like jump the gun right away until they knew for a fact that this movie was going to open big. It did open big, and that's why as soon as the box office numbers came in, the CEOs and the studio executives decided that, okay, a sequel is going to get made. And the first thing you got to know about the sequel is that Gareth Edwards is back as the director. Now, some people who have some complaints against this movie are probably thinking, don't bring Gareth Edwards back. He kept on giving us teasers of the Godzilla fights and a lot of the human element, and then all the action was left till the end, but still it was at the end it was a 50-50 Godzilla or rather a monster-human mix. It wasn't balanced very well. But one thing you got to understand is that Godzilla is an origins film, okay? Kind of like how Transformers is an origins film, you know, from Michael Bay, the 2007 movie. When you really think about it, they're structured the same way, all right? It's a human story, but you're given a lot of teasers in the first and second act, and then in the final act, that's when everything all blows up, right? It's the same structure for Godzilla. It's all a bunch of teasers in the first and second act. The third act is where they start fighting. There's a mix of a human element there, but it's still structured the same way. Essentially, both films, Transformers and Godzilla, is an origin story. Now that they got get the origins out of the way, now in the sequel, they can do whatever the heck they want. And what are they going to do? They're going to bring in other monsters to go up against Godzilla. Now, I'm just calling that right now because it would be stupid to make it a movie about humans versus Godzilla. Godzilla. Alright, Godzilla did cause a lot of damage, but after he took out the Mutos, he went back home, which is like wherever the heck that is. But like at the end, he went underwater. I'm sure that the military is keeping an eye on him unless he goes into the darkest depths of the ocean, and then they lose complete contact of his whereabouts. But at the end of the day, this movie, or rather the sequel, is going to end up being a monster versus, like a full-on monster movie, because they got the origins out of the way. They don't need to make a teaser. The only thing they need to tease is the arrival of the other big monster. Now, I'm thinking that if it's going to be anything at all, it's going to be, of course, bigger. Now, what are you going to do with something bigger? There's only two options, and that is... Okay, make that three options. Okay, we're going to go with the cliche sequel, okay? And that is, you could have one monster that's equal or greater to the size of Godzilla and stronger than Godzilla, or you could have a whole bunch of medium-sized monsters go up against Godzilla as opposed to one big one, or you could have a combination of the two plus a new human element, and that is there is the evil researchers, okay, which is also very cliche, but it doesn't mean it's a bad story. It's just a cliche thing, which we've seen before. It's the evil researchers who want to capture Godzilla and find out what he's all about, and then obviously Godzilla turns against him, and he can't tell the difference between the researchers and the good humans, and so he just destroys everything. All right, so that is what could happen in Godzilla's sequel. But at the end of the day, this movie is happening now. This movie, I'm pretty sure, is going to come out in 2016. Summer of 2016. They are going to be getting ready for this next film. And I think that, well, obviously, if Gareth Edwards is going to be directing Godzilla the sequel, he's going to be directing Godzilla pretty much back to back, as in like he directed the first Godzilla, and now he's going to direct the next Godzilla. Take a little bit of a break, but he won't be directing a different film, like a non-Godzilla film before Godzilla's sequel, unless it's a very, very small film. All right, because they got to start working on that. They got to start casting. They got to start the pre-production. There's a lot of stuff involved, all right, to meet that 2016 summer release date. All right, and the reason why I would assume that it's coming in 2016 if they haven't already announced it is because there's just too much competition right now. We got all these genre films, you know, fanboy genre films, from comic book movies to robot movies to sci-fi movies. They're all coming around the same time, and that is the summertime. There's way too much competition. They need to lock in that release date, and I'm sure it's summer of 2016. So that's all I gotta say in this video. I'm excited for a Godzilla sequel. I really enjoyed the first one. Why don't you let me know, who do you think Godzilla is going to fight in the comments section below? And there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. They give him, you know, characteristics, right? He's on a mission. There's a reason why he wants to go from point A to point B, and he plays a character in itself. And